We all spend years and years of our lives trying to figure out what our calling is, what our career path is going to be, and of course, how we're going to make that bread while doing it. Sometimes we find a passion, but it doesn't make the money we need, and sometimes we get the money part, but we're not fulfilled with the work. And you really got to try a bunch of jobs to figure out what suits you, but I wanted to share some info that I wish I had years ago to help people along that path. So I've got a list of jobs that I've worked over the years, and also how much they pay me hourly, and also what they added up to an entire year. Some of them required no education at all, and some of them I could only get after going to school for that specific thing. And the point of this video is to kind of show what kind of pay you can get, what kind of money you can make with different education levels in different industries, because all these jobs are in multiple different industries. We've got 7 jobs to cover in this video, and we're gonna go from the ones that made me the least amount of money to the ones that made me the most amount of money. Our first job on the list is manual labor, and this was something I did one of my first jobs ever. I think I was around 16 years old, and it paid me $15 an hour. By the way, everything's gonna be in Canadian because I am Canadian, so $15 an hour, and that equates to around a $31,000 a year salary if I worked that job, you know, a 9 to 5 every single day. The enjoyment level was okay, but I'm sure the more you do this kind of job, just like manual labor stuff, the more you start to dislike it and kind of get tired of it. Nothing mentally stimulating at all. It was just like, okay, Adam, move that box over there, and then, you know, again and again. The second job on this list was when I was a painter for about half a year, making $19 an hour, which goes to around $39,000 a year. And before you think that's kind of cool, I was a painter. No, I was actually just painting the outside of houses. That's a lot less cool, I know. The enjoyment level was pretty low, to say the least. I still remember trying to tape a plastic cover around a garage door one time when it was windy. It was one of the most frustrating things I've ever experienced. But I just know when I paint my house, I'm gonna get some kid that's like me when I was that age to do it, because I don't want to do that. And I only lasted a few months at this job because I ended up moving, but I probably would have quit like soon after anyways. Number 3 on the list is when I was a video game developer. And people usually think, isn't there like so much money in video games? You should be making like a lot more. Why is it only number 3 on the list? And yeah, I wasn't making that much money, and this is one of the ones that I went to school for. So this was for $24 an hour, coming out to $50,000 a year. And the 2 before this, I didn't need an education for at all. Those were $15 and $19, and this one's $24, so you know, just a $5 jump from painting. And I actually paid $35,000 to go to school to get this job specifically. And actually, after graduating, my original job offers that I got were for minimum wage, which is less than both previous jobs we talked about, less than manual labor, less than painting. So originally when I graduated, I was like, did I just waste like $35,000 in a year of my life studying here just to get minimum wage? And luckily I ended up getting, you know, a couple other job offers that were a bit better. You can't survive here on minimum wage. You literally can't. And when they asked me in the interview, is minimum wage gonna be a problem? I said, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what it's like to live here, don't you? Not in a disrespectful way, but I did say, yes, that it will be a problem. Now, with my video game job for $50K a year, I also had benefits, so things like eye care. I actually got these glasses through them. I didn't really pay for these at all. And also like dental and things like that. So it ended up saving me more money also than just getting paid $50,000 a year. And the enjoyment level for this job was, I'd say, kind of mediocre in the middle. It was cool working on video games and doing something that I had an interest in, but at the same time, the video game industry in Canada has a loophole to make people work for free overtime. They can just ask you to work overtime for free and not pay you. It's one of the only industries that you can do that in Canada. That's one of the reasons I ended up leaving it also. And I'm not trying to work for free. I could be making YouTube videos or something with that time. So that's what I did, and I quit that job. And the 4th job that made me the most amount of money was selling clothes in a retail store. And you may have noticed I'm not saying any company names, and that's because I just want to be honest and truthful with you guys about good things and bad things, and I don't want to talk down on any company specifically, because I want to tell you guys, you know, everything. And so working in this retail job, I was making around $25 an hour, which was around $52,000 a year. And if you've worked in retail before, you probably think like that's pretty high, $25 an hour for selling clothes. Yeah, usually those jobs are closer to minimum wage than like high up like $25. And it was at this store specifically I made a lot of money because they gave out bonuses whenever a certain store sold more than the goal for the month. And so every month we sold more things, you know, we would all get a few dollars added to our paycheck. So the actual wage that I signed on for was $15, and that got added up almost double to $25. So this one, I kind of just got lucky working there at this certain time where they were making a ton of money. But at the end of the day, it made me more that year than my video game design job that I went to school for, you know, $35,000. Because this one also required no education beforehand. I ended up leaving this job because I had a really bad manager. They were very rude. This one manager turned me off from that company as a whole. And the enjoyment for this job was just kind of like, okay, no hard work, not a lot of thinking, but it was also boring because of that. So the fifth job on this list is what I'm doing right now, what I do right now full time, which is technically be an influencer. I don't really love that word. It's kind of a meme now, but that's what I do. And hourly, this job works out to be around $30 an hour, but that's presuming that I only work 8 hours a day. It would equal that, but usually I work, you know, like 10 or more hours, so it's technically not $30 an hour, but it's around that. And in a yearly amount, I'm predicting it'll come out around $63,000 for the year. I left my video game job and started this channel because I wanted to move away from working for somebody else. And that's why this channel started in the first place, and eventually I was able to do that. And that's mainly because of you guys, so I don't say it too often, but guys, I really appreciate it. Even you just watching this video, even if it's the first video, I appreciate it. And remember, like I said, there's 7 jobs on this list, meaning there's 2 more that make more money than me being an influencer right now. But I do this because for 2 reasons. Instead of those jobs, even though I know they make more money than this one, but I do it for these 2 reasons, which are, one of them is the potential that YouTube has. You know, I could make a viral video as my next video, or this one even, like who knows, and it could make my 63K salary go to like 73K or even more just from one video. And the chance of that happening is pretty low, but you know, there's a higher chance of it happening here on YouTube with my videos than working for a company where they just decide to give me a 10K raise in 1 year, which, you know, it probably won't happen. And the second thing is that there are a lot of positives with just, you know, working for yourself or making YouTube videos. Like, I was kind of sick of having like bad things going on that I couldn't control in my job. I really think that being your own boss minimizes the chance that you have to dislike your job. And if you want to know more in depth on how I make my money on this channel, like as an influencer, I'll leave a video where I talk about exactly that in the card above. And now we are on to the final 2 that make me more money than being an influencer with 25,000 subscribers does. And number 6, gonna surprise some people, and that is being a host in a restaurant. This one, I was 19 years old. I didn't need any education for this job. It was just after high school, and it was around $30 an hour, going to around $66,000 a year. To tell the truth though, restaurants have busy seasons and slow seasons, and I only worked at this business for 6 months during their summer super busy season. The reason that this one is the one I'm talking about and this one actually made so much money was because it was on a luxury golf course. And to be honest, I kind of got lucky with this job. I remember wearing my other glasses to the interview just to look extra sophisticated, because I don't know if I should have got that job. But what can I say? I got it, so I guess I deserved it. From those few jobs I worked in the food industry, in the restaurant industry, like I will not be working in that industry ever again. I don't know how some people like do it and be bartenders. Even though bartenders and waitresses and waiters sometimes make a lot of money, I could not do that for years, because pretty much being like people's servants in the restaurant for like days and days and days is just, it gets tiring. You know, you're just kind of taking orders, which is what a job is, but that one can be a bit more draining. Number 7 on this list, this is the one you guys have been waiting for, the one that made me $40 an hour, coming to $83,000 a year at 20 years old. If you want to take a guess, you can do that now, but that was being a video game developer contractor. So pretty much companies who were creating video games would outsource some of their work to people like me who would do like 3D art, make an environment for a video game, or do characters or do animations. And as a contractor in this industry and most industries, you can make more money doing that than working for a company at a salary position. And that's mainly because you choose your hourly rate. When someone gives you a project and they're like, hey, I want you to do this stuff, you can say it's $30 an hour for this, or it's 40, or it's 50 or 60. I know some people who do around $100 an hour. Granted, you have to be pretty good at what you're doing and also have connections to get these jobs in the first place. Overall, I made the most money at this job, but I think the enjoyment level was actually probably the worst one. The reason I actually started doing this contract work was because I was trying to start this YouTube channel and leave my other video game job that wasn't very good. But because that job wasn't good, I started feeling really burnt out, and like I was just creating these things just for money and no enjoyment at all. And because because of that, this one was really a grind and I could not do it for that long. And that was the list, ranging from $15 an hour and $30,000 a year to $40 an hour and $80,000 a year. And being just 22, I'm sure I'll have some more jobs in the future that make me some more money, so I'll be sure to share those on this channel, so subscribe if that interests you. I also make a lot of just money and lifestyle knowledge related videos in general, so check out this video if you want to see if you should be an entrepreneur possibly. And that's it for this one, so I will see you guys next week.